Hi, I'm Penny Akester. I'm a jeweller and jewellery teacher based in Camden Town, London, UK. I work with various materials and techniques, but in this video I'm going to talk about Kumihimo, which is the Japanese art of braiding. I use this to create custom cords for my individual pendants and necklaces. Here I am, sat ready to braid, sat at my maradai. So the maradai is the wooden braiding stool, and that's what I use to create my braids on. These are just a selection of some of the braids that I use for my pendants. So the first thing I need to do to create my braid is to measure out my thread. So I'm using these two colours today, so a dark blue and a grey, and these are Tencel fibre, which is a wood pulp based fibre. So these are what I'm using for my current braids, and I need to measure these out and multiply them up so that I've got a thick enough bundle of threads to make the braid that I want to make. So the braid I'm going to make is something like one of the braids that I have here. So this is the current stock of braids I have. I keep them hanging so they don't get tangled, and they are just sitting here waiting for me to use them with one of my pendants. So this is what I'm going to be creating. I'm going to be creating a braid just like one of these. So these are all different thicknesses and slightly different patterns. And I'm going to show you how I prepare the threads next. So to create my braid, I need to prepare the threads and I need to measure them out and multiply them up. So I'm going to use this, which is a warping post, and I've got another one at the other end of the table, and I'm going to wrap my thread between these two posts. So the posts, the distance between them is the length that I want or I need for this particular braid that I'm going to make. And I'm going to just wind the thread round and round until I've built up enough strands of each colour. So at this point I've stranded up all of my threads. So on each bobbin when I'm braiding, I'm going to have 4 individual threads working as one. So what I've got here are 8 groups of 4 threads for this braid. So for this braid I'm only going to use 8 bobbins, and this volume of thread will provide the thickness of braid that I'm looking for. So at this point I've got my threads ready, I've got them measured out, and I've got these separate threads here that I'm using just to keep my individual groups of 4 separate so that I know what thread's going where. So now I need to remove these off of here without getting them tangled and transfer them onto my maradai so I can start loading up my bobbins. So I've now got my stranded threads. They've been measured up, they've been separated into groups, and they've been loaded onto these, which are the bobbins, or in the Japanese, the tama. These are weighted wooden bobbins. They're wooden with a lead weight inside, and the weight of them is counterbalanced by a weight that's hanging from the centre of the braid under the disc here. So that's all balancing everything, keeping it in place on the Maridai and controlling the tension of the finished braid. So this is all now ready to go, just about. And now I can start my braid. So the different moves I'm moving across the Maridai will control the structure of the braid. So I can make different sequences of moves and they will create different types of braids. So the braid I'm making right now is going to be a square cross-section braid. And it's going to be primarily this teal green colour with little grey patches running up the sides. So as I move, everything is staying in place because of the weights, and everything is balanced. So every now and then I'm going to pause and roll the tama down a little bit so I've got more thread to work with. But this, I'm just going to continue now until I've got the length of braid that I need for my necklace that I'm making. So this is my finished braid and it's ready to use with one of my new pendants from my new collection.